Hey guys, welcome to Restobin. My name is Kushal, and in this video I'm going to show you how to install and configure a powerful LEMP stack on Ubuntu Cloud Server. So this video is a part of a cloud server series in which I have already released 2 videos on my YouTube channel and also posted 2 blog posts on my restobin.com. So just in case if you are not visited or not watched those videos, just go and watch those videos. I would be hyperlinking those things in the below description. So let's get started with installing the LEMP stack. So before we get started, let's read this and watch what exactly the LEMP stack means. So LEMP is nothing but the Linux is an acronym for Linux, Nginx, MySQL database server, and PHP processor. So in this, there are two stacks that are used in global, that is LEMP stack as well as LAMP stack. The LAMP is nothing but instead of Nginx, they would be using a Apache server, but personally I prefer Nginx because it's too fast. I have used it in a couple of past, and I see that the performance varies a lot in terms of using Apache and in terms of using Nginx. So I would recommend personally to use Nginx instead of Apache. So let's dive into the content. So in this, what I'm going to show is how to install Nginx, as well as how to install MySQL database server, PHP processor, which is the latest one, which is 7.3, and finally how to configure the MySQL, Nginx as well as PHP to talk with each other. So the entire setup will be showed in this video demo. So let's skip to the first part, how to install Nginx on the Ubuntu cloud. So if you have seen my recent video, that is the last video in which I have shown how to log in into SSH. So if you have already logged in into SSH, fair enough, or else you need to log in to SSH and as well as SFTP for this entire tutorial. So let me just open my terminal and connect my cloud server with. It's asking me for password, so let me enter my root password here. Okay, so this is my remote login into my Ubuntu cloud server. Let me drag it, make it big. Okay, so the first command here is on installing the Nginx. So before we start install, let's first update the library, the repository. Just copy and paste. And stay tuned till the end, guys, because this is going to take a lot of time. And let's proceed with installing the Nginx now. Paste and enter. Say yes. So this shouldn't take much time. Copy. So we have already installed the Nginx, and now let's copy Command C and Command V into the console to restart the Nginx. So Nginx has been restarted. So there are some packages that need to be removed, so you can just copy this one, Command Control C and Control V, then remove those packages. So these are absolute packages that are no longer required. So we have completed our Nginx installation. So there is some part of setup that I would be taking care at the last after installing all other servers, that is MySQL and PHP. Let's move on to MySQL for now. So I reset my screen using the command called reset. So that will reset all and clear the screen. So for MySQL, by default, MySQL version is 5.7, but I believe 5.8 is quite faster, and we are going to use 5.8 for our installation for the LEMP stack. So the procedure is really simple. What we need to do is first we need to add the MySQL 8.0 to our repository, and then configure the repository so that whenever we upgrade in the next time using apt upgrade or apt update, then it should hit to the MySQL 8.0 version, not the 5.7 or any earlier versions. So the procedure is really simple. Just copy this link. This will download the MySQL package in our local server, then configure using dbkg command, paste it. So here I have mentioned already about this configuration. So it's basically checks whether your current version is 8.0 or not. So I can see the currently selected is 8.0, so I don't have to change anything. I will just go and select OK in here and hit OK. So next part, we have changed our configuration to 8. Now let's update our library using update command. So we have updated our library. Now let's install the MySQL server using this command line. So about this root password, I mentioned here that it will ask you to enter the root password, and you should not use the root password that is used for our Ubuntu server user. So let's enter some other password here. So let me switch to this tab. So I entered my root password. It's asking me to re-enter. Okay. So here it's asking for the authentication. So we will be using the legacy authentication, which would be used for compatibility. So this authentication will be used for our WordPress installation, which we are going to take care later on. So I would be suggesting to use legacy method here. So there will be a couple of packages that would be installed here, all the dependencies. It shouldn't take much time, hardly a few seconds, like 10 seconds or 15 seconds. Okay, so the MySQL installation is done. So the next step is securing our MySQL installation. So by default, MySQL is not secured. It has a lot of dummy data as well as test data, root user permissions, and all those things. So what we need to do is we need to secure the installation. So there is one script which is sudo mysql secure installation. The command is present here. Just copy that and paste it into your command. So it's asking me to enter the root user password, so the password which I just set now in pink screen. So password won't be appearing in here. So it's asking me to whether to set up the validate password component. So here I have mentioned that I don't want it because my MySQL password is already strong. So I would just say no and proceed to next. It's asking me, hey, do you want to change the password for root users? I don't want to, so just say no. Remove anonymous users. Yes, I want to remove. Just enter yes and next. Disallow root login remotely. Yes, I want to disallow. Remove test database. Yes, I want to. And reload the privileges. Yes, I want to reload the privileges. So finally it will show all done messages that you can see here. So your MySQL server is all set and secure for now. Just see whether MySQL server is running, what its status by running this command. So it shows as active. Just in case if it's not running, you can use the second command to enable the MySQL server. Okay, so in order to log in into your MySQL root, you need to run this command. So this will help you to log in into MySQL using the root, and you need to enter your MySQL password. And if you want to quit, that is exit from the MySQL, then you can use this exit and semicolon. So this is how the entire MySQL setup is done. So let me reset the screen so that I can move ahead with installing PHP. So by default, similar to the MySQL, PHP also install two versions or one version later, that is 7.2 I guess. I haven't tried it because my restore bin server runs on 7.3, so I would be suggesting using the 7.3 version here as well. So basically it's said that the each version upgrade, like from 7.1 to 7.2, the 7.2 to 7.3 PHP versions, the PHP is improved in terms of speed and performance by 10% of the previous version. So that's what it is suggested to use the latest version. So if 7.4 is coming by the time you're watching this video, just upgrade it to 7.4 instead of 7.3. That is what I would suggest. So let's start with first we need to update the repository, since we have already added MySQL and Nginx. So, and if there are any upgrades, just copy this and paste it. So this will, okay, so the upgrade is also done. So next thing is the PHP 7.3 is not available by default. So what we need to do is we need to add a repository from a developer whose name is Nginx. So for that first we need to install a script package. So just run this command. So this will add the package. So it has been replaced, so there is no problem with that. Now we have to add this Nginx PHP repository to our apt repository by running this command. Just press enter, so the repository will be added. So now once the repository is added, just go and hit on updating the repository using sudo apt get update command. So here you can see the Nginx repository is added into a repository. Now finally we can install the 7.3 as well as some of the supporting PHP modules, which would be used for our future use for installing WordPress on the LEMP stack. Let's allow PHP to use the additional space. So it's downloading all the files from online server launchpad.net by Nginx. Once we complete this process, what we can do is we can verify what server is installed using this small command. Copy this and paste it. Here you can see it's version 7.3. Moving on to PHP Security. So PHP is insecure when installed. Just like MySQL, we used a script. So we have something similar in PHP that we can edit and modify to make it secure. What we need to do is we need to edit a PHP config file, which is php.in, and modify the CGI path info, which is by default set to 1, and we need to change it to 0 and uncomment it. So let's copy this path, and using the nano editor we would be editing the php.in file. So you need to find the CGI path info. Just scroll in this nano editor to find where this exactly the keyword is. So once you found this file, it's now first commented and value is set to 1. So what we need to do is we need to set the value to 0 and uncomment this and hit Ctrl X to exit the editor. So now the value is changed to 1. This is how the final value looks now. I have closed the editor using Ctrl C, and finally I need to just restart my PHP server. So my PHP server has been restarted. Now we are at the last step where we need to configure the Nginx to use the PHP processor. So there are two ways to edit this file. So I would tell you how to edit in the SFTP instead of using the nano commander here. So for SFTP, just let's open the SFTP first. Okay, so let's select our site and then connect. So this SFTP I have configured it yesterday in the previous video, so you can just go and check what the previous video is all about. So let's navigate to this folder or directory, just copy and paste it. So here you can see there is one file here which is default file, which was the same file here. So what we need to do is we need to edit this file. So before just if we open this, we will see the server block here which will be there in this. So let me open this one first so it would be easier for you to understand. I use VS Code editor, which is my personal favorite. So if you can see here the first two lines, and these pound symbol is actually the commented line, so you won't be able to read these lines in the web server. So here the third line is root, which is present here, the server name, and the location, which is this one, which is there, and then rest all other files values or the blocks are being commented, so which means they are not going to execute. So what we need to do is, first, here are the couple of the steps that I have mentioned here. So first I need to add the index.php in index directory. So let me see, so here is the index directory, so I need to add index.php. This is the first thing. Second, modify the server name to listen to my IP address. So the currently server name is nothing, just underscore, just then let me copy my server IP address. So this is my server IP address, just paste it, switch to this one, then uncomment the location block that defines the fastCGI processor. So if you just scroll here, so you can see the location PHP, there is a snippet, fastCGI PHP snippet, as well as the socket with PHP FPM. So let me uncomment this one and this and this, and I don't think so I would need this, so I will just remove this part. And finally remove this one. Now if you remember, my PHP was 7.3, so let's update it to 7.3, and finally uncomment the .ht access, which is this one. So let's uncomment this so that nobody have access to .ht access file which is there in the root folder. And yeah, that's it. So let's Control S, save it, close this, navigate back to our swan, which says finish editing and delete the local file. Let's upload it back. So here you can see it's connecting now, it's queued. Once it is transferring, so transfer, so this is successfully transferred, so this got refreshed now. If I just refresh it, so you can see the time modified has been changed. So our final output file is looking something like this now. So I have added the index.php, made some changes in the location which to add to listen to the snippets, as well as added the fast CGI socket to PHP 7.3. So let me just navigate back to my SSH. Let me reset this one again to clear. Okay, so since I made the changes, I just need to first test whether my server Nginx server is running fine or not, because any changes to the configuration file will directly affect to the Nginx file. So let's go and copy this sudo nginx t -t. So it says the configuration files look okay, there is no problem with that. So finally just go and reload the Nginx server. That's all, guys. So we have finally configured a LEMP stack, a powerful LEMP stack on Ubuntu Cloud Server. So we have first installed the Nginx server, then we have added the MySQL 8.0, which is the highest for now, which is faster, and then we also installed the PHP 7.3, the PHP FPM 7.3, which is the processor manager, and we also configured the Nginx to listen to the PHP socket. So our LEMP stack is now completely ready, and we are good to move ahead with the next step, that is installing a WordPress on the LEMP stack. So that I would be covering in the next video. Till that time, cheers guys, have a great day. Thank you.